gang, it's your boy Platt, and today we're going to review Munton's Brewery in a Bag home brewing kit. So let's go. As most of my viewers know, I love home brewing kits. I love simple home brewing kits. A, they make my life simple, but B, I also like them and I like to do videos on them because it's a great way to get people involved in home brewing. And these companies that make them have done a great job in the last few years to really make these kits easier and easier, just to take out the intimidation part of home brewing. Well, I think the one we're going to review today may take the grand prize. I don't know if it gets much easier than this. This is the Muntons Brewery in a Bag Craft Beer Brewing Kit. According to this, we get to make 25 pints, but the best part is on the very bottom of this tube. Just add water, no equipment needed. That's right, we're not going to need any pots, pans, thermometers, hydrometers, strainers, anything like that. Everything we need except for water is all in the kit. Now, you might be saying, well, hey, it says brewery in a bag, that's a tube. Everything's inside. So let's check out what we have inside here real quick. First, you have a yellow cap. This is going to be a breather cap that we'll use during fermentation. I'll talk about that a little bit later. We've got our sachet of yeast. So this is the yeast that you use, and it's the right amount. You don't have to measure it out. And it presumably is for the particular type of beer we're brewing, which is a golden ale. And then we have our instructions here, and there's also instructions on the back, so you shouldn't get too lost there in case you lost for some reason. Then last but not least is our bag, or our brewery in a bag. And this is what it looks like. This is the top, and then this is the spigot. What this kit does, which I think is truly unique compared to, let's say, kits like Brew Demon and Mr. Beer, which I've done plenty of videos on, is at the end of the day, you still have to bottle beer with those kits. That's another step. You have to either buy bottles, save bottles, what have you. This process is we're going to do everything, ferment everything here, and then we're going to pour our beer from here. This is like a little tap. So basically what we're going to do is we're going to make our own keg in a bag, think of it like that. And this is going to fill up, and it's going to pressurize. We don't have to worry about conditioning. That's one of the things you do with bottling beer is you'll kick the fermentation up again to create more CO2 to carbonate the beer in the bottle. We don't have to worry about any of that stuff. All gets done here. So that's it. That is all we have here. That's all the equipment, everything you're going to have. All you're going to need really to provide is some form of measuring cup, because we're going to be adding water, and that's about it. Now, when you grab this bag, you'll be a little heavy and you'll feel that there's something inside. What is inside is hopped malt extract. So all the barley, all the sugars that we need, the grain, is in a liquefied form along with the hops. They've already hopped this beer for us, so we don't have to add any hops. It's all in there for us. All we have to do is add the water to it. And that's it. So let's start making some beer. Alright, so the first step is we're going to add 4 pints of lukewarm water. When I say lukewarm, roughly room temperature water. And that's the only temperature water-wise we're going to need. The instructions does say something about you could do like 1 quart or 1 pint of boiling water with 3 pints of cold water and mix it together. But it also states that any like room temperature, mid-60s to mid-70s water will do. So let me add 4 pints of water. pints of water in the bag, and what we want to do now is give this bag a good shake to kind of mix everything together. This all incorporate it. And then the next step is we're going to go ahead and add our yeast, our little sachet of yeast. Yeah, it doesn't say if it's any special type of yeast. I'm just going to presume it's kind of a generic ale yeast. This looks like a similar packet to the regular Munton canned extract that are used for 5-gallon batches. So anyway, we're going to cut that open. We're going to open our lid. All right. And we're going to go ahead and add the whole pack. I would suggest these brewing, these kits as simple as this. No need to try to find a fancy yeast or whatever. I mean, that might be the one way you can modify it. I've doing a little research to this. I heard people talk about possible modifiers for this. They were talking about, well, you could, dry hop or whatever. The only problem is because you're going to dispense beer out of this bottom, out of this tap, you don't want to throw anything in there because it may stop up the tap. So, like I said, these kits kind of just stick to what's in the kit, and like I said, they're great learning kits. So, got our yeast in. We're going to go ahead and fill up the rest of the way. We're going to add another 19 pints of water, and then we'll come back to just kind of wrap up the process because it's just that simple. So let me add the water and we Okay, so we got the other 19 pints of water in there. We shook everything up. One thing I just remembered, another great thing about this kit, no sanitation. Because nothing leaves this bag. This bag was sanitized when they put the malt extract in there. We're not putting anything inside besides water, which is hopefully, if you got a good source of clean water, you shouldn't have to worry about that sanitation-wise. Only thing is you might not want to leave the cap off too long or something. But again, the sanitation issues we don't have to worry about. Really nice and easy. So now that we've got all the water in, the next thing we're going to do is we're going to take off this white cap and we're going to put the yellow cap on, and we're just going to twist it on a little bit, not too tight. This cap is the cap we're going to use for fermentation. Over the next 3 to 4 days, you see this bag, there's a lot of excess space, it's not tight. This bag is going to start to expand and may get a little tight, and that's because the fermentation started, the CO2 is in there. Unlike other home brewing kits where we want the CO2 to escape, here we want to keep it because we want to keep it in our beer. We want to carbonate the beer. So that's why we're leaving the cap on. You do want to, it does have a breathing apparatus, and we're leaving it a little loose. So we don't want the bag to explode, obviously, but we want to keep most of that CO2 in. So over the next few days, we'll check on it. We'll make sure the bag fills out, but we don't want it too tight. If it's too tight, you can loosen this up a little bit, let a little CO2 out, and then you recap it again. So we got fermentation going. Let's come back in a day and just see what it looks like. All right, so it's been about 24 hours, and we start to see the bag fill out a little bit. CO2 starting to build up. We have fermentation going, so that means we're making beer. So, it looks like we're heading in the right direction. Let's go ahead and wrap up. Okay, to wrap up, we are brewing a golden ale with Munton's Brewery in a bag. We took everything out of the little kit. We took the lid off our bag here. We added 4 pints of room temperature water. Then we put the cap back on, shook everything, mixed the water in with there's hopped malt extract in there, shook it all together. Then we added our little packet of yeast, the whole thing, threw it in there. Then we added another 19 pints of water, and then threw away the white cap and we put the yellow cap on. We didn't tighten it all the way, but we did tighten it a little bit. And we're leaving this out at room temperature. And for about 3 or 4 days, you'll leave this room temperature and you'll start to see this bag swell and kind of fill out. And after about 4 days, then you'll want to drop the temperature on it. You want to put it in a little cooler spot if you have a basement or something like that. You want to get to the mid-50s, maybe the low 60s. Right now we're around 70 degrees. And then you want to leave it at around that temperature for the next 26 days. This total of 30-day process. You'll leave it there for 26 days, and you'll want to monitor it every day or two. Also, too, when you throw it in wherever that cooler spot, go ahead and tighten the lid all the way, because we want to keep all of that CO2, because that's what's going to carbonate our beer. We're going to condition it in the bag itself. Like I said, though, during the 26 days, check it every once in a while, because if it's getting too carbonated, if that bag's getting kind of hard, really tight, you might want to loosen a little bit, just a little bit out, and then twist it back on, because you want to keep excuse me, you want to keep most of that CO2 in, because again, we're carbonating the beer. At the end of those 26 days, 30 days total, she is ready to throw in your refrigerator and ready to drink. You'll just take, there's a little seal on the bottom and a seal on the cap, and you'll just pour right from this little spigot. That is when we'll come back. I'll come back and do a separate video on the tasting. I know I'm kind of bad on some of this. I apologize, but we're going to get a little better on that. But we'll come back here in about a month, and we'll give her a try. Well, I hope you like. Oh, and real quick, I will leave a link down below, an Amazon link down below if you want to get one of these kits. And if you click on that, you'll be helping the channel, and we thank you in advance for that. I hope you liked this video. If you did, please subscribe down below. Also, please like the video, because it lets YouTube know we're putting out good content. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, please leave them in the comment section, or you can always contact me on the Twitter page. Till next time, bottoms up.